So Juventus delivered an efficient performance as they moved back to the top in the Serie A on Friday, securing a 1-0 home win against a wasteful Napoli thanks to a header from Federico Gatti. 6 minutes into the second half, Juventus broke the deadlock and Gatti met an Andrea Cambiaso cross at the back post, outjumping his marker to head into the net. Napoli had numerous chances, but Kvaratskhelia missed a clear opportunity around the half-hour mark, and Osimhen had a goal disallowed for an offside in the second half. Well, Allegri, he says that Juve did well in the first half, moving the ball side to side. In difficult moments, the team becomes a block of granite. Says that he has a group of players who work hard. We need to slow things down, not always try to make it one-touch football. We should control the ball better in some moments of the match. Asked about their hopes of a top 4 finish, Allegri said, "We can even say in the dressing room that we have the ambition to win the Scudetto. We need to get results. There's no point talking about what might be. We need to focus on what is." Looking at Napoli, they created several early chances with Di Lorenzo denied by a Szczesny goal line save and Mario Politano narrowly missing the post moments later. Juventus had their best chance of the first half when Vlahovic's close-range attempt was blocked by Nathan, and Weston McKennie's subsequent overhead kick was denied by the Napoli goalkeeper Alex Merritt. Walter Mazzarri, he says that anyone who knows football realizes there are moments. The guys played a great game. I think they dominated the match and forced Juventus to defend in their own area for almost the entire second half. So, just before the half-hour mark, Kvaratskhelia did find himself alone with Szczesny inside the box after being set free by Osimhen. However, the Georgian winger sent the ball over the bar, much to the relief of the home fans, and caused a visible frustration for Mazzarri. He said about this that, I've seen a team that always played good football better than the opposition, but we don't seem to be able to score goals this season. If we do not score that Kvara chance, it is a clear sign that we're in a negative period, but luck happens too. I'm convinced that if we play like this, we will have a run of positive results and really climb the table. Osimhen put the ball into the net for Napoli after Szczesny's pass was intercepted and knocked back to the Nigerian. The offside flag was raised. Now Juventus topped the table with 36 points, one ahead of Inter, who hosts struggling Udinese on Saturday. For Napoli, the match highlighted their struggling form, marking 3 consecutive defeats across all competitions. They are 5th with 24 points. Allegri, when he talked about Gatti, he says that, 3 years ago he was playing in the 3rd division. He's made incredible progress. He proved so with the goal he scored. He's dangerous in the box. He's aware he must improve defensively, but it's normal. He's so eager to improve that he will do it. As far as title ambitions goes, Allegri says that, we have a bigger gap from Napoli, 12 points now. We've earned 36 points, but they're not even enough to survive. We need more to stay in the top 4 without thinking about what will happen on May 26. We must focus on Genoa. It won't be easy. They're doing well, especially at home. Every time we get a good result, we must raise the level of attention and focus because there are more perils. On Vlahovic, he says that, he played a good game, he worked hard. If we defend well, it's because strikers do a great job. He was subbed off due to cramps, and I asked strikers to work hard because we have important players on the bench. So Mazzarri's comments on the games went to stay in the bunker and never lose an aerial duel. We pay a high price as soon as we make a mistake. We're not quite lucky either. Juventus are a physical team. Sometimes you need goals from outside the box. We had a few chances, but we were not accurate. You saw Calhanoglu, he had a chance and he destroyed our goal. On Napoli's season, his comments were that I've just returned and moments like this can happen. Everything worked perfectly last season because they had a big advantage on their opponents. A city like Naples expected the same start this season. A few things have changed and some players are no longer here. This season they have the responsibility of being the defending champions too. Of course, if things were going well, they wouldn't have called me. Well, the situation here is that if we look at the overall scheme of things, There's one type of people who think that, Juve is going to finish second or third unless they bring in some serious reinforcements in January. The same goes for AC Milan. If they stay in touch with Inter and strengthen in January, then coupled with the Inter's deep run in the CL, in the Champions League, because obviously Inter's going to be like, half the focus is going to be there. And because of that, Juve just might have a chance. But then, in January, there aren't going to be major changes. Milan will most likely have a drop-off unless they exit Europe altogether. In January, there's not going to be... I don't think there are going to be major signings in January. It's always really difficult. And if we look at Juve, almost all their games have been on a knife edge. No control, very lucky moments. Sometimes it's the matches against smaller sides that have a chance to take away points. Some people see that it's very hard for Juventus to actually go all the way. But if you look at, Xavi's Barcelona, they also exited the Champions League, played Europa, exited there last season, and they also won most of their games 1-0. So if Juventus continue taking out those games 1-0, then yeah, it's not impossible. But right now, if you look at things, and if people think they're gonna go all the way, it does look a little difficult because you need a lot of luck for that. Inter, they're also worn out, by the way. The more they play in the Champions League and other tournaments, that's what the Scudetto does, like it did to Milan. Could have a wear-out effect on them. But, at the end, Juve do play for moments. Once those moments stop getting their way, Juventus could struggle to get points. And what the fans want is more than these 1-0 lucky wins. And that's what they think is going to stop Inter. And for that, they'll have to build up their squad. If we look at Real Madrid, they also won the Champions League 2 years ago. They got a bit lucky against Pep Guardiola's team in the semi-final, but if you look at it from another perspective, that's what elite teams do. Inter is more at risk since they depend entirely on one player, by the way. Look at Real Madrid. Once they won that Champions League, they did lose last year, and this year, if you look at it, 90% or 80% of their game and their goal scoring is basically Jude Bellingham. And obviously Barcelona, they had all these 1-0 wins, and because of Ter Stegen and a pretty good defense. And then this year there's a drop-off. Obviously they have a lot of injuries and all that. Only 14 players were available today for training. It does make a season, like if you don't have a really good core squad, and if the team is going through a transition like Juventus is right now, what happens is that one season you can go all the way and win it because of these 1-0 wins, but the next season it becomes a roller coaster ride. This year obviously Barcelona is doing much better in the Champions League because they had a much easier group, and still they managed to lose that one of those games, and then the next one, the two Jows basically who saved them. So yeah, signings are important, and I think that's what Juventus is gonna have to do. Maybe they can get, but even if they go for a loan in January, like it's really hard to get that elite kind of guy, so it becomes difficult. What Juventus is gonna have to worry about is mostly against weaker teams, unlike the stronger teams that tend to attack. Weaker teams, they'll sit in the box and they'll play the game that Juve played today, and that could become a problem, bringing out those goals. But yeah, as long as they got Vlahovic, that striker, they always have that chance that they'll get that goal. That key man striker, it's very important, because even if they don't score, they pull out the defenders away, and that way you can get a goal on a set piece or something like that. That's what happened today basically.